Come here.
Yep.
You stop it.
Today's interview is
Stop.
with Dana Harris, our a senior associate athletic director,
For internal operations.
internal operations. Thanks so much for agreeing to do this. Take time out of your busy day. Tell us what does that mean, internal operations?
Internal operations is basically where I oversee the business operations of the athletic department as well as the facility operations. So they're the two areas that I have oversight for.
Okay. Now it's interesting. Your background is typically everyone I've interviewed, they've had a background in athletics for 20, 30 years. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got to be here at this position.
Okay. I definitely have a financial background. I have a CPA license. I worked for the Office of Internal Audit when I first got out of college. I did that for 15 years. Matter of fact, UNCW was one of my clients. And from there, I continued my career path on the accounting side of the house, where I became the director of student accounts when we were migrating our ERP system from the FRS system to Banner, what we now use as Banner. And then after that, I went back to the audit world, which I promised myself I never would. But I went back into the internal audit side of the house, which as the director of internal audit here at UNCW, and it was very fulfilling. And from that area, I was able to get a glimpse of the entire arena of the finances and the operations of the university. And in internal audit, what we did was not only the financial aspect of reviews, but program reviews. So how to be more efficient and effective in the way that we run our organization as a university. So we did a lot of those types of things. We were consults on a lot of systems that were up and coming, or way that departments ran their programs, that type of thing. And now, as a matter of fact, I was the interim. So when I was the director of internal audit, the chancellor asked me to come over to athletics and help them build their strategic plan, get their ducks in a row, so to speak, for their financial side of the house, so that we had a foundation, a solid foundation to build upon as the athletic department built their strategic plan. So I ended up falling in love with athletics. So when my 1 year period was up and I was getting ready to advertise the position, I realized I really didn't feel like I was done here. I still had more work that I would like to accomplish. And so I made that known, and that I did not want to be the hiring official for this position, that I actually wanted to potentially be a candidate. They went forward with a national search, and I was the lucky candidate. So yes, I am not the norm in athletics, but business is business, and athletics is a business, and I think that's what I bring to the table, and how I'm supportive of Jimmy, our AD, and is that I'm able to bring the perspective of how should a business run. What are the smart things to do when running a business? And then I also know the logistics of the campus as a whole. And as we partner with the rest of the campus to be able to accomplish what we need, and to help the campus accomplish what they need, with partnering with athletics. So I'm like the liaison for that too.
That's excellent. I can attest that you have brought to this table a lot of organization that but really was needed.
Right.
And I can attest that you've done an excellent job. So glad that you prevailed and decided to stay. So can I call you a jock or not?
No, I don't know. We had a kickball game yesterday, and I had a double play in the very beginning, but then I went downhill. So I don't think you can call me a jock.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So you mentioned a little bit what you do. Can you just describe a little bit more your specific duties and responsibilities?
Mm-hmm. I specifically have the business operations under my purview. So my team and the business side of the house is made up of about 4 individuals, and not including myself. And this group is the ones that ensures that our teams are traveling, ensures that our coaches are being reimbursed, making sure that the hotels are reserved for our teams when they're traveling, and the airline flights, that type of thing. We do all the scholarship processing. We manage, basically, if it has a dollar to it, we're managing it. And we also work with the Seahawk Club and manage their disbursements in the Seahawk Club too, which is the fundraising arm of athletics. So that is, and then so anything that has anything to do with our $12.5 million budget. If it's a dollar, it's running through this operation. And then we also have oversight of the compliance of how we use those dollars. For good or for bad, it is very regulated on how we spend our money, whether it's an NCAA compliance, whether it's a university compliance piece. So there's lots of rules and regulations that we have to follow. So this is a group that knows exactly about all of those. We process all the hiring for everybody that comes into the athletic department. So from the advertisement to the recruiting to actually getting the person on board is under my purview. And then the facilities piece, which is making sure that our facilities are well maintained, repairs and renovations are done. That by itself, of the $12.5 million budget, is approximately $1.2 million, where and Marcus is the head of that, and he is the one that has the long-term and the short-term plan of our facilities and the things that we need to accomplish.
It's huge. All that you just mentioned, it seems like that's a onerous kind of job to do on a day-to-day basis. So what's the most positive thing you do in this position?
I think just being able to be the service part of this organization. Nothing would get done without a group of employees that wanted to make sure that our students were getting the best experience that they were getting as a student athlete, that our coaches are given the resources that they need to be able to be successful. So I think the part that's, for me, is most endearing is that I get to be a part of that service, providing that service.
Every other interview I've done thus far, everyone commits to that student athlete well-being, and so you've just followed up with that as well. So, and I can tell that from this organization. So, okay, so that's a positive thing. So, what's the most difficult thing that you do?
I think the most difficult is managing expectations and making sure that if we're up against an obstacle, because whether it's a institutional compliance issue or an NCAA compliance, it's managing the expectations of what we would like to do and how we can actually accomplish it. Our goal in my department is to make sure that we're just not the no people. So we want to make sure that we have looked at all of our possible solutions before the answer is no, we can't do that. And it seems like we have a lot of forces that sometimes are coming at us about why we particularly may not be able to do something. So it's constantly having to think outside the box. And that's where our partnerships amongst the campus community comes in, because a lot of times there's folks that are in the controller's office that can help us think outside the box and to accomplish something, because the way that the policy is written, it appears like it won't be able to work for us. But reaching out and having those positive relationships with folks has been that ends up being a positive thing because we have the relationships.
Yeah, very good. So that means you can't sit in this office every day.
No.
And this is not typically an 8 to 5 position.
It is certainly not an 8 to 5 position. No.
Okay.
No. You have to love what we do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you mentioned collaboration across campus, making that partnership. So, how do you think this campus perceives athletics?
I would like to think that the campus perceives us as a partner. I think we've probably had road, speed bumps along the way. I do think that with the administration that's here currently, we value our partnerships significantly, and we're hoping that the partnerships that we've built over these past couple years are changing potentially some maybe negative views that they may have had with us. We are not an island, and the only way that we're going to accomplish what we need to accomplish is with the support of the rest of the institution. We are part of the institution. I think with our programs that are successful, it brings a positive light onto the campus as a whole, whether it's within the Wilmington community or nationally. So I think that that part of our view is a positive view from outside looking in.
Great. So one last question in dealing, what do you think is the most pressing issue with college athletics today?
Probably the expectations that are that come from outside of our area with the NCAA, like cost of attendance is. So there's always something that makes it very difficult to be competitive, and how do we keep up with that competitive edge on our particularly limited budget, and how do we manage all of those things? So I think that piece is probably it. Just trying to stay. We don't want to be the Joneses, but we have to stay competitive, or we wouldn't continue to be a Division I program.
Great. Again, Dana, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate this has been very informative.
Thank you.
Thanks.